Hello. Today we are learning about area of triangles and rectangles. We are on page 132 and 131. Please pause and make sure that you have your pages on the right paper. Also, please make sure that you put in the topic. It is the area of triangles and rectangles. And the essential question is, how do I find the area of a triangle? We are looking at the essential question, or the standard 6 geometry 1, and by the time we're done with this lesson, you should be able to find the area of a triangle or other, or of a right triangle or other triangles. You should also be able to find the area of a rectangle too. Well, the first thing is I have this big rectangle. And remember, a rectangle has two congruent sides on each side. So this side is the same as this side, and this side is the same as this side. That makes it a rectangle. It has 4 right angles here. Remember, a right angle is a 90-degree angle. Remember, last year we probably studied this, that the area around, or the length around the outside of a rectangle or other shape, polygon, is the perimeter. I'm trying to write this upside down. Well, it's something. So this distance around the outside edge is called the perimeter. So we can have the perimeter of a rectangle. We can have the perimeter of a polygon, like a hectagon or a hexagon or an octagon. We can have the perimeter of a triangle. We can have the perimeter of a trapezoid. Any of those shapes. Parallelogram, any kind of shape like that we could have. The only time we have something different is when we have a circle, and in that case we call it, once again, the circumference. But otherwise we're talking about the perimeter, the length around the outside of the shape. I like to think of it as the fence around my property. Then we have, and I'm going to change pens, you don't have to, but I like to, we have the space inside, and the space inside we call the area. Yeah, the space inside the fence. That's our area. So now let's look at how we can find these different dimensions, or these different lengths or sizes. And the first one is the perimeter. Now for perimeter, we are purely looking at adding up all of the side lengths. So for perimeter, we add up all the sides. Now, when we're doing that, this is a side, 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 side. So I could just go this plus this plus this plus this. Or I could do it another way. I could take this and multiply it by this, and I could get it as well because these are the same. So, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I would add this plus this and multiply it by 2. I was jumping to area already. So once again, let me say that again, not to confuse you. Going back, I could take this side length and this side length and add them up. So it'd be this plus this, and then I could multiply that times 2, showing that it's going to be the same on this side as well. And when we do this, when we add up all the sides, or we do the length plus the width times 2, we're going to put that and label it in plain old units. plain old units. So for example, if I was doing this with centimeters, it would just be whatever I add up it to be centimeters. If it was inches, it would just be in inches. If it was feet, it would just be in feet. You're not going to add anything to it, as you're going to see when we do area. We're going to change up those units a little bit, but for perimeter, we're just doing the length. Okay, now we're going to talk about the area. The area is the space in between, and you could think of it as each of these little squares make up the area. There's all these little teeny squares that we make up this space in between. And each of these spaces in between has 4 different sizes, 4 different sides, and it takes up this whole inside area or space. To find that, now you're going to do the length times the width. So we're going to take the length times the width, and that would tell us what this area inside is going to be. Another way we could do this is the base times the height. Sometimes we call this the base and the height. So we would label this as L times W, or base times height. Now, when we're doing this type of problem, we're going to label the units squared. So you would have the units squared. Because remember I said these are composed of these little squares that have 4 sides? Well, we count up all those squares and we call it units squared. So if this was inches, we would have inches squared. If it was centimeters, it would be centimeters squared. Whatever it might be, it's going to be whatever squared. Now, when we have rectangles and we use the formula base times height or length times width, that actually helps us to understand how we could find the area of a triangle. Because remember, here is a rectangle, right? Well, a rectangle is really, if I put a imaginary line in here, we can see that a rectangle is actually 2 triangles put together. And that helps us to remember what then the formula would be for finding the area of one of these triangles.